Well, let's bring in Stephen Horrell in Annapolis, Maryland. He's a senior fellow at the Center for European Policy Analysis. Stephen, thanks for joining us on TRT World. Just take us through why Soledar right now is so strategically important in the current fighting that's taking place on the ground.
Certainly, and I would say Soledar and Bakhmut. So Soledar's current importance is because it's on the approaches to Bakhmut. Bakhmut itself is critical as a road and rail junction, a transportation hub. So all of the lines of communications to bring in resupplies. So that's very important pieces of terrain for both sides to control.
And Stephen, Ukraine has had a lot of support since the start of this conflict from the West, especially the United States. The Pentagon saying today that from next week, it will be training Ukrainian soldiers on the Patriot missile system. How big a game changer could this system be?
The Patriot is very important. So if you look at the NATO foreign ministers meeting, and the Ukrainian foreign minister Kuleba was there, and he said, in short, what we need are Patriots and electrical transformers after the Russian attacks on civilian energy infrastructure. So the Patriots and their air defense capability are very important for Ukraine to be able to protect those civilian population centers and civilian infrastructure. So that's both the U.S. and in President Biden's recent talks with the German leader, Germany has pledged to provide a battery of Patriot surface-to-air missiles as well.
How much longer can Western allies from Ukraine keep providing them with weapons, missile systems, and support? I mean, the end of February is coming up to 1 year of this conflict, and the constant call from Ukraine, from Zelensky, is for more support and more weapons.
And Ukraine has been asking for the right kind of support and the right kind of weapons as well. I think that certainly the Western countries can afford, in the strictest sense, afford to continue to do so, especially if we realize that Ukraine's fight is a fight for democracy and the Western values, the European and transatlantic values that we hold dear against autocracy. It's in national interests for each of our nations to continue to support Ukraine and to continue to help them fight this fight. And hopefully we can help them to a Ukrainian victory.
And that's exactly what Zelensky said when he visited Washington not that long ago, saying that his country's fight is a fight for democracy. But it's also taking a toll on the country, of course, itself, especially on Ukrainian troops. How big a toll has it taken on both sides, the Russian and Ukrainian sides, especially when it comes to the number of soldiers that both sides have lost here?
Yeah, if you look, the latest numbers I saw for Russian losses, dead and wounded, were over 100,000 soldiers. But you saw in the piece there with Secretary General Stoltenberg, the Russians have shown a willingness to take those losses of men and of lives. In fact, a lot of the current fighting around Bakhmut and those other frontline areas in Donetsk, we talked about Wagner Group, the mercenary group, but a lot of those soldiers that they're throwing at the front lines are the ones they've recently recruited from prisons. So Russia has definitely shown a willingness to accept that cost of lives. It's just part of another facet of the brutality of Russia's war on Ukraine. On the Ukrainian side, they're fighting for their nation. They're fighting for their survival. So certainly the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian armed forces have shown a willingness to bear that burden.
Stephen Horrell, appreciate your analysis. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.